Hey Leslie, we're going to kick this off. I'm just going to shoot like everything that I have written down, and then that way I'm going to be able to talk to you and explain a few things a little bit better, just because it would take forever to write it down because I'm so long-winded. But anyway, what I want to do, I'm going to have this written up for you. So I'm just going to start with all the corrective exercise stuff, and I've basically grouped, I have 2 groups of 8 things. So it kind of worked out really well. I didn't plan on there being 8 in each, but 8 in each little group, and I kind of divided it up where the first little group were emphasizing the lower body, and with the second group we're emphasizing the upper body. Because as you know, when we're talking squatting, it's not just a leg exercise. It's not a lower body movement exclusively. So you've got to address the upper body as well. So I think this will be really cool for your client, because it's going to show her how everything ties together and how the hips affect the shoulders, for example, yada, yada, yada. So just going with the philosophy that everything works together. So after these 2 groups of 8 things, what I've also done is, because with the 2 groups, the premise is that we're working on addressing and deactivating the areas that are tight, which sometimes muscles that are tight are also weak. So I'm going to also throw in some work for the hip flexors, because those suckers are tight. We want to work them as well. But we're going to kind of tone down those tight areas and then go in and activate the areas that might be a little bit shut down because of those tighter areas. And then kind of integrate that in the end, after we kind of emphasize the corrective stuff. I put together for you a single leg progression that'll be really good, and then also a squat, like I'm calling it a squatting mechanics progression. So you can start working with your client on getting down the proper feel for a squat. So what we're going to do, I'm going to kick this off with the lower body little group, and what I've done, we're going to start with the soleus. Gastrocs might be 2, but I'm thinking, just from the video and everything, I'm thinking that your client's, the lateral aspect of the lower leg might be tighter. I might be wrong, but with that being said, what we can do, I like the tiger tail for the lower leg, just because I feel like it's a little bit more, it's easier to get in there than with the big gun with the foam roller. But you don't have to have one of these. The foam roller might work just fine, so don't be stressing about that. But when we're talking emphasizing the soleus and gastroc, actually we're just going to focus on the soleus because that's the area. You know, up here in the belly of the muscle, that's the gastrocnemius. We're talking soleus down here. So really want to work on that ankle mobility. So we're going to start off by doing some self-myofascial release there. I like to just kind of go in and work it and see what parts of it feel like they need a little bit more attention. So like I was saying, that lateral aspect might be a little bit tighter. So if we're talking just right up here, right above the ankle bone, okay, just getting in there and getting some blood flow to the muscles. All this is also done after you have her do a general warm-up 5 to 10 minutes. So make sure that's done first, then get in here and get this work done. So tiger tail or either foam roll the soleus. See if there's one side that's a little bit tighter than the other. There might be. If there is, pay more attention to it. If one side's not really seeming to be a problem, then don't really waste your time on it. Get both of them, but emphasize the side that feels like it needs more work. So, getting a little soleus there. Second thing that you're going to do some self-myofascial release on right now is going to be the piriformis. So usually most people use the foam roller for this. I just got these bad boys. I have 3 different sizes. This is actually the intermediate. The smallest size is the advanced. What's really cool about these is that they're a little bit more forgiving than the foam roller. So that's kind of nifty. And then also, it's a little bit easier to get in some areas such as like the scaps, the lats, piriformis. You can kind of pinpoint some areas that you can get with the foam roller, but this, I feel, gets a little bit better result So I'm excited that I finally got these. So for the piriformis, you know the drill on this one, I'm sure. If you're on the foam roller, it's going to look pretty much the same. Sometimes I'll cross the leg over when doing this, just rolling slowly until you find a little hot spot. So seeing what's going on there. And again, just like with doing the soleus, there might be left or right, there might be a discrepancy. One side might be tighter than the other. So if your client isn't able to go here, I would consider this to be a more advanced position because it's placing a stretch on that hip, and it's a little bit trickier to hold the position. Have her start here, and even have her just with the foam roller or the ball under like one side and hands behind and just trying to find that area. Okay, so it's all about making sure that she's comfortable doing whatever it is she's doing first before we jazz it up a little bit. So that knocks out the SMR for soleus and piriformis. Second thing on the hit list, a little bit different than what you've probably seen me do in a few videos. Kind of jazz this one up a bit too. So I'm going to show you, we're going to be stretching this left psoas. I'm going to, this mat's probably 2 inches, 3 inches tall when it's folded over. I feel like I get a better stretch with my back leg up on a cushion, just like this. So what I'm going to do is have you take her through just a sagittal plane 3D hip stretch, which I used in my MTM book. Just good posture, belly button's pulled in, abs are tight because that's going to automatically allow you to get a better stretch on that hip flexor if you squeeze those glutes. So the sagittal plane is just the overhead shifting forward. Count of 2. Probably about 5 to 10 reps of that. This second little variation, what we're going to do is take, okay, if we got the left knee down, we're going to take that left hand and push the dowel rod into the palm of this hand. So that's going to lock down all of this here, and it creates a nice stable environment. And we're going to incorporate a little bit of transverse plane movement here by taking, still good posture, taking the dowel rod from the left side, shifting forward, a little bit of a rotation. So just kind of a spiral effect, just a little bit of a different stretch on that hip flexor there. So those 2 dowel hip stretches